And we are live.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Is that what I said? No, it was how last week.
Oh my God, yes.
How.
How?
Oh my gosh.
Woo, I'm a black Indian. But anyhow, welcome to this week's episode of the Soul Rehab Podcast. And today, dramatic pause.
You forgot to talk?
No, I just wanted to pause. Sometimes,
Dramatic pause.
Yeah, you know that.
Oh my
like you
God.
build up to something in a movie. Like, we're talking about fear.
Fear.
You must sit beside my mind.
See, when I switch up, they don't like that.
Fear.
But no, today we're going to talk about fear. I'm going to let the team introduce themselves this week because, again, I just don't feel like doing it.
Okay. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, the fervent servant, Anisha Dawson. I hope you all are well.
Can you introduce me?
This is the voice of reason, my bestie best, Mrs. Francis Sutton.
Hey.
And we got our girl Zoe, she in the background. Say hi, Zoe.
Say hey.
Hey. She over there, she making sure we keep straight and she's keeping time.
Oh,
Because
gosh.
we learned from last podcast. We're
We
on
don't
time.
want no smoke.
None. But,
Introduce yourself, chosen one.
and you know it's me.
The
How?
most extra.
The chosen one.
Dramatic pause. So I can roll my eyes.
Let's go. None of that mess don't matter. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
I'll be blue all day. Ain't got no problem with that, baby. I'll be blue all day. No problem.
Oh my gosh.
Woo.
Okay.
I'll be blue.
Oh, I love that. That is like one of my
You can be
favorite
Paul.
lines of any movie.
I'm gonna be Paul.
I don't know.
It is my favorite part saying it every movie. I don't care. I love that.
You got problems.
Woo! But anyway, so today we're going to talk about fear.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I get over fear is laughter.
Yeah.
That's weird, but it is.
It
But
makes
then-
sense.
Yeah, it's, if I get uncomfortable and stuff like that, I start laughing and it helps me get through it. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but I do. I started
I don't
noticing
think it's
that.
unhealthy. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You know, we all have different ways we deal with fear. And so today we just want to talk about it. I feel like it's a topic that it's something we deal with on a day-to-day basis. I was doing some just some thinking about it. And one of the things, let me make sure I tell it right. Concerned about. Oh, something that I think we all deal with. You know, we all have different kind of fears, right? But something I think everybody deals with is the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely.
I think on a day-to-day basis, that fear literally paralyzes billions of people from day to day.
Yes.
It's something that you really, it's like times when I sit back and like think about it, I'm like, man, the worst thing that I deal with is the fear of not knowing what's going to really happen. Like, even from your kids, not knowing how they're going to turn out, not knowing if you're doing what it takes to be a good parent and stuff. I think that fear above any other fear, and I have some fears. If a snake dropped down in here today, podcast
over.
See me.
and there will be a new door made somewhere.
Yes. Over. All right.
Don't worry about it.
Woo! Spiders, I'm not like spiders. I know people who are petrified of them. Me, I've never been scared of spiders.
Okay.
You know, and fear of heights. I had a fear of heights. I would never fly until a few years ago. And so you just notice how fear, you know, we depending on your experience and stuff about fear, we all fear different things. But something that I think is common to everybody is the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so I don't know how we gonna start with your question.
Okay. Jumping.
But I just
Jumping ahead.
that just hit me, and it's
Yes.
it's something that I really was just sitting as I was thinking about how to address it and talk about it. That's like, man, that's something that I know everybody deals with.
Fear of the unknown. Yes.
I'm ready.
All right. You ready?
As I'm gonna get.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna just start with breaking it down because we like definitions and to make it clear.
Yeah.
So we're going to first describe what is fear. And that's just the teacher in me because I need it to
The
be.
teacher gonna get a definition?
I can.
Come on, teacher.
All right, I was
You
going to
got
let
it?
y'all start.
Teacher.
All
Well,
right.
you teach and we listen.
All right. Fear is an
We're probably
unpleasant.
the only students you got to do this.
You might be right. You might be right. No, I have some good students, and we have some students that we're gonna pray for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I pray for them too every day.
You don't lay hands and pray, do you?
Oh no.
Okay. Okay. Well, as long as
You know
ain't
this
laying-
is live too.
I don't really know what that means, but
This
we
is
gonna
live.
say
We
we gonna
don't
say
say anything that incriminates
Oh,
us.
okay.
You know,
Plead the
sis need a
fifth. Plead the
job.
fifth. We're gonna plead the fifth.
Right, but no, I don't lay hands. No. But I thought about laying hands.
I believe that. I can,
Thought about
I feel
it
you.
a lot of times, but no, I think about
That olive green jumpsuit.
no, I
Not
didn't
too
even.
pleasant.
I didn't think about that. I just think about I have an expensive child that like to eat.
I consider jail time, but
Yeah.
I didn't consider
I ain't- yeah, I ain't
That's
feeling
my
that.
fear.
Yeah, I ain't feeling that. I'm
Oh,
not
jail.
I'm not.
I-
that.
I just don't think that's my story.
No.
So
I don't think I have a prison ministry. I hope not.
me either. All right, y'all. Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Let me say it again. Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Some synonyms to fear are terror, fright, fearfulness, horror, alarm, panic, aggregation, be afraid of, be fearful of, scared of, live in fear, dread, be apprehensive of. The more we do it, skip. Apprehensive of, dismay, uneasy, anxiety, worry, unrest, alarm, discomposure. So for me, when I was looking at those synonyms, I went back and circled some words that I thought always are present when there's fear in me. And some of the words I circled were uneasy, unrest, alarm, discomposure, and anxiety. And those are the words that really stuck out for me. And I think a lot of times when you are fearful, you need to pay attention to your emotions that come with it. So that's how I'll start.
Absolutely.
So what is fear? What do you believe fear is?
I think fear to me is our inability to control our emotions from a surprising event. Like, for example, you walk out the door and you hear a loud noise. That creates us because it's a surprise and it's unexpected. So a lot of times, that carries emotion. You go out, you hear a loud bang, you think gunshots, somebody crashed or something like that. So fear is just our inability to process something unexpected. Like, and there's a part to the fear that I think we forget, and it is, like I was talking about earlier in the podcast, since we hear is unknown. Not being able to predict the future, not being able to predict other people's movements or what other people going to do, how other people respond to what we do. I think fear is really, I seen I love acronym, and it's face everything and rise. I think is what one I see. And I think fear is, I think one of my biggest responses to fear is either becoming stagnant or won't move. For fear of a wrong decision. So I don't know if I'm making the right or the wrong, so I don't make none. And I say stagnant. And I think that really prohibits us from becoming who we created to be, because we'll get to that point. Fear creates indecisiveness inside of us, and indecisiveness. One of the things I pray to the Lord for is clarity.
Yes.
Because clarity, the thing about clarity and what I think is so against, why it's the opposite of fear, clarity you make short and definite steps.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? That even if it can be slow. The pace can be slower, but it's clear. This is the path that I'm going, and I'm gonna stay on this path. But when we had that fear and that cause like when you sometimes your stomach feel like it's bubbling, the hair on your arms will rise up, your heart start beating like it's ran a 5K.
Yes.
You know, you have all these response. Public speaking is something in which most people, and I hate that. Most people think I do not have a fear of public speaking, and I do. I'm telling you, I do. It's something that I go up there, and I'm telling you, I hear it from everybody. They always say I can't tell, but I can promise you, if you can see inside my body, you will see it. But it's like I don't think I've never like really sweat, but my hands will get, clammy. My thoughts will start racing. Sometimes, like when I really first started, I have to say a joke because I don't know if we record that part, but sometimes laughing gets me through, being afraid. I can remember the first time I was spoken in front of somebody at church doing a welcome, and I was walking. It was full that day. I walked up there, and I didn't know the mic was gonna pick this up, and I was walking up, and I said, how did I say that? I said, well, I don't know if I was expecting this many people to be in here today, and everybody just started laughing and stuff, and I'm like, whew. That just took all the tension out of it. But and I don't think all fear, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but I don't think all fear is bad.
Yeah, you're getting too far ahead.
Okay, so let me pull back.
I don't have any. I mean, I can't say anything outside of what y'all already said because I totally agree. So,
but we're not doing that. We're not going to just smell.
You should fear the consequences of what she just said. Because she said we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's what you said. You were going to do that. We're not.
That's what I have.
All right. President Franklin D. Roosevelt said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I like that quote for some reason.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true.
So.
It's true.
I'll go back to this when we get to the question. But I was thinking about what you were saying with public speaking and everything. When we first started recording the podcast, how I'm still nervous, still don't kind of like it sometimes. But in the beginning, how I was just so fearful, and I remember a lot of times having to throw up before having to go to the bathroom. You remember I used to be like, get me a ginger ale.
Yes, that was my duty.
I think when we did that Single and Hill panel, I was like, girl, get me a ginger ale. I gotta be on this panel. I don't know what to say. But I think one thing about what us doing this podcast is we took a step. And even though a lot of times we didn't know what we were doing, sometimes we still don't know what we're doing. But I feel like this is my personal belief. If God calls you to do something, He wants you to take that step and trust Him in it. And I haven't had to throw up in a while, but I still usually have a drink somewhere close. But that I was just thinking about, I just truly believe if you take that first step, God will meet you somewhere in that step, and He just wants you to have faith and trust Him completely, to rely on Him. And I thought that was fitting because I was a mess in the beginning. I was so fearful.
That was too.
Yeah.
You were talking about God, and I think so. Something that God really taught me and really got on me about is, people always say you're supposed to fear the Lord. You hear that a lot, and I think in actuality we take that as in being scared of, and maybe you like that at the beginning, maybe, but I think as we mature, God don't desire us to be scared of Him. You don't want to be scared of your Father. You know what I mean? So I think fear, and in Hebrew, one of them, I don't get into that, but I know I looked it up. But it's fear is reverence.
Reverence. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like honor.
Honor.
Yeah, honor him. Hold him in high esteem.
High esteem.
Something that I feel like the Lord has told me is like, there's a difference when you see him as Lord over versus when you see him God who walks with. That's a big difference, because when he Lord over, you always looking up. It's like you think he always looking down on you. But when you learn to let him walk beside you and walk with you, it's a different feeling. And I think that's when the maturity and the intimate relationship come in. You lose that fear of being scared of what's going to happen, and you have that reverence for him. And I think as any believer, we must learn to grow and mature in that. And let's not, I don't even want to, I try not to teach my kids to be scared of God. You know, we just like Adam and Eve. I mean, it was an instinct. They did something wrong, they got shame in the heat. And you know, that's kind of like with us, with God. But if you get to the point that you learn that he already knows. He just wants us to share. And once you start sharing, you don't have the fear. There can be and will be consequences to stuff we do. But he don't want us to have that fear of consequence. He wants us to have that reverence for. And it's like, do you operate different? I think that's a lot of the reason why people are able to quit church so easily, because they never really had a relationship with Christ. They had a relationship with church. And so when the church does something they don't like, they divorce the church. And it just so happen God goes with it, because they never really had a relationship. You can't, if my church did something to me now, I may leave my church, but I'm gonna go find another, because God, I know that's what God desires us to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we have to really be careful of turning God into a moral, and having morals first, rules and regulations first. When God wants relationship, because when you get relationship, the rules and regulations follow.
Right.
And so I just like, I want to make sure I put, you say you mentioned God, I want to make sure that I put that, the two differences of the fear of him.
Right. It's definitely a reverence. And I think, like you said, it's having understanding. And whenever you're scared of somebody, it affects your communication.
No doubt.
So if you're scared of God like that, it's going to affect your relationship with him. It's going to affect your Communication, how you talk to him, how you hear him, and even the response. Me personally, I know some parents do, but I've never been a parent that want my children to be scared of me.
Oh, no.
I want them to respect me, and they know the line where they got, hey, we got to draw the line.
Right.
You know, where I'm a parent. But again, I never wanted my children to be scared, because I feel like that affects the communication. I want them to be able to come in and talk to me. I'd rather them come talk to me than go talk to somebody off of the streets. You know, again, there's a line, there's a respect level. I want them to always see me as mother. You know, I'm not your friend. I'm gonna make some decisions you're not gonna like. You know, or you know, and you could come back and tell me your opinion. You know, my children are so opinionated. But it's a line that we're not gonna cross.
Right.
You know, because it's just, and even as an adult, I'm an adult, good and grown. I have a father that's living. There's a respect level I have for him. I'm not scared of him. But there's a respect level that I have for my father. But I definitely do see people are scared to talk to God, or they're scared that he's always holding that sin against them. And the Bible says that when you repent, he throws it into the sea of forgiveness. He doesn't even remember it. Right. And that's the good thing. You know, people will bring it back, but God won't bring it back to you once you truly asked him. It's us and people. But that is very good. So definitely reverencing him and not seeing him as this big, scary God that is always going to punish you. Right. You know, and I think that's what and then taught. That's what we're taught. And then unlearning a lot of different things. And, you know, and I think that's why people are so not willing to come to church, because they see it as a scary thing. They see, you know, everything have to be like fixed right away. And that's not how God operates. He's still fixing me. You know, I mean, and he'll probably continually be fixing me until I die, you know, because it's a working process. None of us have it all. The pastors don't have it all. The preachers, nobody has it all. That's why we need him. But anyways, what does fear do to us? What does fear do to us?
Okay, now I have something.
Yes! Yay!
And I was just thinking about it as he was speaking. And you said one of the things I was thinking, but it either warns us or hinders us. So in the hindering part, it's like he said, we get that fear of the unknown, and instead of us just going forward and taking a chance, we won't do anything because we don't want to get hurt. We scared and we don't know the outcome, and that bothers us. With the warning part though, sometimes if you have a certain type of fear, it's letting you know like, now sometimes it is that, don't take that chance. Or you know what happened the last time you did that. Right. So sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it have us stuck in a place that we aren't supposed to be.
And I think, you know, sometimes it's a good thing is that can hinder us too, because if we ain't healed in the spot, we can be getting warned about something that really ain't. It's just triggering us. It's not really like warning. You know what I mean? It's like if we don't heal from the wounds of a past relationship, we think we're better, but we actually not healed. We can get a warning of something that's really just a trigger of something that we never dealt with. Yeah. So you know, inner healing and dealing with your soul, which is Shameless Plug, the Soul Rehab podcast. Is us. That's the reason why we do this and we have these talks, because we know the importance of your soul. And so you have to make sure that you're doing stuff from a healthy place. And one of the things that I like, even when I'm scared, it's something like, I'm like, okay, what's the worst can happen? When I deal with fear sometimes, I'm like, all right, what's the worst gonna happen? And you sit there and you think about it. And you be like, I don't feel like going through that, so I'm not gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because honestly, it's like that might be the worst. It's just like, you know, as men, you know, you talk to women, there ain't two things she can say, yes or no. I don't want to hear the no, so I ain't gonna talk to her. You know what I mean? So So, and that's a rejection triggers. So I don't want to go through that and take that chance. You know, that ain't, because it's a 50-50 chance. She can say yeah or she can say no, but you don't want to take the chance and hear the no, so you don't do nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I didn't care, like if I didn't take rejection personal, because I think we take it personal until we get to a healed place. If I don't take it personal, it don't matter, because she has the right to whether she wants to talk to me or whether she don't. You know what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes when we take stuff personal, it's because we still have, and to me, I notice that like it's a trigger. So I need to see why I still feel like that. And so I just want you to be aware of that. Sometimes our fear can still be based on something that we actually trying to be delivered from, our heart issues.
Most definitely.
Issues of the heart.
Yes.
Don't start.
You felt like singing? I thought there was a song in your heart.
Go ahead.
We got time?
No, go ahead.
Well, it was one of mine. Phoenix, I can't leave you alone.
Is that
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. We was talking about dating and being rejected, and now Phoenix. Okay, next question.
Okay.
I'm so lost. Look, this is the Soul Rehab podcast shenanigans.
There will be questions after the podcast. Because I have so many questions.
No.
All right. So, okay.
Woo, y'all threw me for a loop.
You said you had a song in your heart. That's the first song that jumped in my head. I'm sorry.
All right. So fear.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to bring us back. Be serious. Let's try to bring us back. So fear. Back to fear. Fear paralyzes us. And
obviously.
It hinders us from growing, I think. And I was saying before, sometimes Now you're cutting up today. If he not cutting up today, it's on you today. He said he didn't cut up last time. He's cutting up.
But I'm back.
Whew, man, I'm blown. Go.
I don't even know where to go. Sometimes.
Say where you at. We doing good. She just had a look at me and I laughed. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm back.
All right. Again, fear paralyzes us. It hinders us from growing. It keeps us stagnant because sometimes we won't start. We're just going to stay complacent. Okay. It makes us question ourselves a lot of times. Yep. You know, and a lot of times we're just in disobedience when we're in fear. Hello, Francis. Yes. Step on my own toes.
Yes.
But
with the steel toes. Go ahead.
But I was just, you know, it just stops us. It prevents us from growing. And that's about it. I have.
Okay.
Anybody else?
So I think, hold on. So the fear of, so you know, we were talking about stagnation and that not wanting to move forward, and this other thing, and not even wanting to move backwards, the tracer stuff. You just get there and you stuck, and it's like it's a comfortable area for us to be in. It's like, well, I didn't make the right decision, I didn't make the wrong decision, and sometimes no decision is the wrong decision.
That's true. Yes.
And you know, we went paintballing the other week with church, and you know, Doyle always talking, and so I was on a different team, and my cousin Poopa, he played a lot, so he had a strategy. But I'm telling you, I thought that strategy would always to get me out, because I was always, if we played 3 times, and the first 2 times I was the first one out. And so I was, I come up with a different strategy. And so I come up to the back side of the woods, they didn't see me, and I ended up getting it. But the Lord was he told me, he said, the reason why you always getting shot first is because you waiting for something to happen instead of making something happen.
That's good.
That's good.
And when he told me, I'm like, man, why you doing me? I'm paintballing. Why you gotta get on me today? I wasn't expecting that. But you know, but that's the thing. It's like sometimes we sit and even with God, I think that's basically what he was saying. So you waiting for me to make something. You waiting for something to happen when I'm waiting for you to make something happen. And so sometimes that fear, you know, you rather with God. There's sometimes, okay, so there's times we know what God tells us to do, and we're pretty sure who he say we are. Pretty sure. But there's this, I don't know if it's time, I don't know if he want me really to do that. But in your heart, he know you really know. And so you sit there in this indecisive place and you're not willing to do anything, and he's just sitting there like, I'm just waiting. Oh, well, that might be why he having me look at you. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But like really like it. So there's a couple things that most people think hindering you from the Lord using. One thing is preparation, and you know you've been through the preparation season. The other thing is that he had to work out some stuff in you, so you can maintain where he takes you.
Amen.
And most of the time, you know whether you've been through that stuff or not.
Right.
And so when you go through all that and you know there's a requirement that he require you to do, and you like, well, I ain't ready for that. Yeah, but you ready for the next step because I done showed you. Because he shows us. I done worked this out you. We done been through this. You've been experiencing this. You've been dealing with people this kind of way. And so you learning. And so now it's time for you to take a step. Hell, I ain't ready for the 4th step. I ain't tell you to take the 4th step. I tell you to take the first one. And so we'll keep sitting there till we ready for the 4th step when we won't never be ready to the 4th until we take the first.
Right.
The first
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why he'll say like, I'm waiting on you. Or he'll start sending people to keep giving you the same message. Or you'll be watching TV and something will come across that'll remind you of something that he said. You know, it's just different ways. And so I think sometimes even the fear, I don't think when it comes to God, I don't think I have a fear of what he called me to do. I have a fear of moving before he really want me to. And then I'll let my thoughts control whether I move or not. Like, God, I don't think I'm ready. And it's like, why do you need somebody else to affirm you and tell you you're ready when I already told you you were? And so
now you're on my toes.
Let me just take off my shoes.
I don't like it.
I ain't even got mine on because I'm on my own too.
I don't like it. because you know, I said it before and I say it again. Like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm still at a place where I'm just like, they're not going to receive it from me, and I've got to get out of there, and I know that.
Yeah.
Because it's hindering.
Yeah.
It is. Amen.
Because it comes out like this.
Naturally.
That's why girls say this is how you know it's in you when it come out. When you ain't even trying and it just come out, it's in there, and that's the sign that he's showing you that this is what's in you. You're at a point that you can see. I think the fear of not being, because I had a fear of not being received because mine come across different than what other people are used to. Even with dealing with church stuff, it took me a while to get by that, because that ain't how you do this stuff at church. You know, you have to act this way. You got to carry yourself, and I don't do that. That's not me. That's not how God gave it to me. And it took me a while to figure that out. And now that I figured out, now there are times I get in my own head, but I just like, okay, every time I try to do it somebody else's way, it don't never work out. I always had this feeling, and so I stopped doing it and starting to do it the way God want me to do it. But he shows us these steps because he's like, okay, you thinking you're not ready. And one thing he had told me is go back into your remembrance. Remember when you did this. Remember when this happened. Remember how you handled this. Remember how you gave this advice or you gave a word to somebody. Just like words of knowledge. Next time you talk to people in conversation, you give them something, they be like, hey, you know what? That just hit home. That just hit something different. You be sitting there, you don't even really know what you done, but it's actually God like showing you, I use you. You're a vessel. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we overcomplicate God by thinking we got to have a certain feeling. God is always with us. Amen. And you don't have to have a feeling to know that he's with you. And that's something he's most definitely been working with me, because you're not going to always feel him. You have to have the faith to know that he's always there.
Yes.
You know, even when you don't think you know what to say. Like public prayer for me, sometimes I freak out with it. It's like, but it ain't because I'm scared to talk to God. It's the fear of how it sounds to somebody else. And so I think in church, and we talked about prayer. You know, we talked about prayer and the thing Friday night. And I think the performance part of it really hurts a lot of people. And then it don't just hurt you in public prayer; it hurts you in your private
prayer. Yes.
Because then you think, I don't sound like this, and my prayer's not going forth to the Lord, and that's dangerous. We really have to stop that as a family of faith. Let people. You're not going to perfect everything.
Right.
And for me, even when I started doing the podcast stuff, I started researching all the stuff I need. Come across the podcast thing, YouTube thing one day, and they said, all you need is a phone and a microphone. And for months, I put all this other stuff. I'm like, man, I can't afford to buy this kind of camera, this little thing to make these noise. I can't do all that. But I run across that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit using that excuse and just start simple. And we've been doing it that way ever since. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's a fear. The fear of what other people's opinion is about what we do. And we have got to keep that, because this is the other thing.
Sometimes that drives us.
It does.
Other people's opinions.
But it's the crazy thing about it. The people's opinion we worry about won't even do what we do.
Exactly. That part.
You ain't even doing nothing. You got to depend on what I'm doing. You know, at least I'm out here trying to get better. I mean, it's just like, I remember when the Lord told me, I need you to do a highlight of the day. So I started on a Tuesday. He said, So I did Tuesday and Thursday. I said every day. And I'm like, I ain't even got nothing to say every day. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, technically he wanted me to do them live every day. I'm like, I do videos. But I did them every day. I did them every day for 389 days in a row. I didn't know what I was going to be saying I didn't know what he was preparing me for. But he told me to do it. And I'm like, God, ain't nobody want to listen to nothing I got to say every single day. And it won't even the point of the views. How many people like, how many people share.
Can he trust you?
That's right. Because he trusts me with what he told me to do. With, can you handle little to no fanfare? But this is the crap. Every time I got ready to quit, there would be somebody I run into who never liked the video, who never shared one, and tell me they watch.
Yep.
They watch.
That happens all the time.
And so, you know, it's like, are you doing it because God told us to do it, or are we doing it because of the response? Because really what he told me is like, when you allow people to build you, they can tear you down. But
That's
when
right.
I do it, there ain't nobody can touch you.
That's right.
And so we have to get past that fear of expectations of people.
That's good.
It is.
That's good. All right. What have been some of our personal experiences with dealing with fear?
For me, that anxiety sets in, and I get the physical stuff. I get the heaviness in the chest, and everything just kind of shut down for a while. Like I told you, I had an anxiety attack in traffic last month. Did I tell you that?
No, you did not.
On 85 in traffic going to Charlotte for an appointment, and the traffic was just crazy. And the first thing I felt was the heaviness in my chest. I was on the phone with my friend, and he said, "You don't sound right." And I was trying to say something, but my speech wasn't right. Then it's like I could hear my heart beating in my head, though, like in my ear. And I had a panic attack on 85, and I had to pull over, and he just kind of talked me through it. And it was just like, it was crazy. And I told her, I said, I've driven somewhere everywhere in the world. Everywhere.
Fast.
But including 85. But that one particular day, I literally had a
Real
panic attack.
fast.
But I don't know if it was...
Hold on, let's not move past it.
Okay.
So she gives you anxiety when she drives.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because she don't value my life, I sit in the back seat. Because she wants to pull out in front of trucks. Yes.
That's how you get them back. What did you do?
Yes. Oh my God.
Have
And
to
she's gonna
change
talk about we at the red light. He got the right away.
He had
And
to change gears.
And she pulled out in front of the semi truck.
He had to move again, and he had to change the gears to move.
She's talking about he got time.
We got time.
We had time too, sis. We had time.
But you made it to Ruby Tuesday safely for lunch, and we had a good time and a great discussion, did we not? We had a great time. You say, and you sitting here today.
That is the truth. Well, look, welcome to the end of our first episode on fear. We have decided to take some time to talk about fear because fear is something that I think we all deal with from different perspectives and different occasions and for different reasons. So we desire to talk about the things that plague our souls. That's the purpose of this podcast, and we don't never want to get too far from the purpose of the podcast because people deal with things, and a lot of times the things we deal with come out and come better through conversation. And so let's learn to talk about the issues of our soul and stop having the fear that people are out to get us or people are against us, because a lot of times that are issues from things that have happened to us in our past and we refuse to heal from. So tune in next week for part 2 on our talk of fear. Peace out.